Okay. So, we are starting our angles unit. How many of you remember these units in fourth and fifth grade? Okay, so I'm just curious, show of hands, you guys. So we've been doing geometry now for the last couple units, volume and those are circles, right? And now we're on angles. So just by a show of hands, I'm just curious, like who tends to like the geometry units more than like the algebra units, or just a couple of you? Put your hands down. Does anybody like the algebra units more than tend to like the algebra units? That's interesting. It's easy, yeah. So sometimes people find that they like one or more, better. And I don't know. It's just some people's brains are more wired for geometry. Some people's brains are more wired for algebra. It's just something that's interesting. So I was curious. So this unit, your success in this unit is going to be entirely dependent on how seriously you take my advice to measure all of the angles rules. So you'll be familiar with them. These are similar rules that you went over in fourth and fifth grade. And we're not writing in our notes right now because we actually haven't gone over a slide yet. So we're listening carefully. So you learned most of these are going to be repeats of what you've already learned, but you're going to need to make sure that you take ownership over memorizing them, because if you don't, it's going to be really hard to solve these problems. So, all right. So our goal today is really just to review terms. Okay. All right. So what do you see right there? What kind of angle is that? As indicated by the little square in the corner. What is that, Ashley? That is a right angle. Great job. Go ahead and fill that in. What is the degree measure of a right angle, Kendall? You got it, 90 degrees. Okay, next one. Now what kind of angle do you see? Elin? An acute angle, great job. What are the properties? I'm really just looking for one, but what is the definition of an acute angle? It's less than something. Gage? Plus. Yes, good job. It is less than 90 degrees. Kylie, do you have a question? Anthony, do you have a question? Okay, we're getting there. Everybody have that copy down? All right. What is this kind of an angle? Kinsey? It is an obtuse angle. You guys are good with the terms. Awesome. And what are the properties of an obtuse angle? Gage?
Over 90 degrees.
Over 90 degrees, but we need to add a qualifier in there. Less than something. Over 90, but less than something. Go ahead, Gage. Okay, Charlie? Yes, exactly. So it's greater than 90 degrees, but it's less than 180 degrees. Okay, now the next type of angle was a new one in fifth grade. You guys actually worked with these angles in fourth, but you named it last year. Oh, did you guys get that? Am I not? This pace is okay for everybody? Okay. What kind of angle is this? What's the name of this type of angle? Liam? No, it's not adjacent. Anthony, do you remember? Yep, no. Mateo?
Outside angle?
It is not an outside. We have a better name for it. We don't call it an exterior angle or an outside angle. So I know in a couple grades ago, you used the term exterior angle, but that is actually not what this is called. So last year you learned a new name for it. What did you learn? Charlie? No? This is called a reflex angle. So the properties of a reflex angle are that it is greater than 180 degrees, but it's less than 360 degrees. Okay, everybody have that? Page, please take notes with pen, pencil. Okay, so there are two ways to mark an angle. So we need to learn the correct way to indicate angles for this unit.
Sometimes you'll have an angle that looks like this and it'll just have a letter next to the angle. All right, so this is angle B. So you're always going to use that angle sign. It is different than like a less than sign because it has a flat bottom. So if you look at how I just drew that, this is a less than sign, right? Or like, you know, when we write inequalities, but the angle sign angles down from the top and it's flat on the bottom. Okay. The other way we can name angles is for points on each of their lines, with the vertex being in the middle. So this is angle XYZ. We start up here because we've got X up here, Y at the vertex, and Z over here. We could also name this angle ZYX, and it says the same thing. Okay, make sure you guys have copied those down. All right, so with somebody next to you, what I want you guys to do is look at that word math on that next slide. And you're going to identify all of the right angles, all of the acute angles, and all of the obtuse angles. And for each of these, you'll just use single letters. Like, for example, can somebody tell me one right angle in that word? What is one right angle? Annie?
I mean, the T is like, and
Angle M is one right angle. Okay, so you're going to write the angles like that with the angle sign and then just the single letter. All right, we're not going to worry about naming points on the lines, on line segments. So you guys can do this. I'll for some other right angles. Name a bunch. Gage, what else? Okay, angle R. I think we missed one. There's one more. Charlie? We have angle Q. Caleb? Angle P. Good. What do we have for acute angles? Elon? Good. I think we got, did we get them all? We did. Okay. How about obtuse angles? Kinsey? Good. Angle K and angle L. Good. It's good we added this. There are a bunch of reflex angles. I don't know why I don't have a space for you on your notes. What are the reflex angles, Anthony? Uh-huh. Angle C, good. And angle G, you said? Okay, perfect. Nice job, guys. Okay, so next, do you guys have all that? Yes, Elijah. About reflex angles? Okay. Well, they're printed in your sheet for you. It's from your textbook. So it's just a reprint of something in your textbook. Are you confused about how we're defining the types of angles? Okay, let's just slow down for just a second then and go back over a couple here. So Elijah, are you good with right angles? Okay, a right angle, we were looking at these in our last unit, right? So with triangles, a right angle means a 90-degree angle. So if you look over here at M, look at the T, okay? Angle M is a right angle because do you see that little square in the corner? That means right angle. And angle N is 90 degrees because you also see. So those are both right angles. Yeah, so we're trying to find the right angles. Now, when I'm looking for acute angles, the definition of acute angle is less than 90 degrees. So we're gonna look for angles that look like that, or like that, or like that, right? Because all those are less than 90 degrees. Are you good now? Okay, so you're not really confused about what the definitions of these types of angles are. It was more just the exercise. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and go on then. So on the next thing, you just have the word analyze marked in there. So I don't want you to mark all of the angles because that'll take 9 years. Just go ahead and talk about the different angles that you see with your table partner, please. Okay. And just point out whether they're acute, obtuse, right, reflex, whatever. Do we have any right angles?
yeah.
Okay, where do we have a right angle, Maddie? Yeah, there's a right angle right here. How about, let's see, oh, there are more angles. What's another one? Cala? Yeah, there are bunches in the E, right? Right here, 4 of them in the E. Those are all right angles. Do we have, who can tell me where an obtuse angle is? Elijah, can you tell me where an obtuse angle might be? Remember, greater than 90 degrees. Where do you see one? In the A, like right here? Yep, that would be an obtuse angle. Here's another. Oh, I should label these in different colors. Oh, yeah. Let's do colors. We'll do obtuse angles in blue. Yep, we've got lots of obtuse angles there. Where else? Mateo.
Oh, on the outside of the Y.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Any others that I'm missing? I think we got them. How about acute angles in green? Where do I have some acute angles? Gauge?
In the.
Yep, in here. Where else? Isaac Ring? Yes, these are acute angles. Where else? Gabby?
There's one in the Y.
Yep, yep. Nora? Yep, all of the angles inside the A. You notice though, those are all triangles too, aren't they? It's just something to notice. Did I get all the acute angles? I think, yeah, if we're gonna be here all day and once we start counting the reflex angles, so just give me a couple. Where are a couple? Elin? On the outside, yep, where else? Oh, that's not a great angle sign.
On the N.
Okay. And then down here, yep, good. And then here's another A. Where else? Where else is a reflex angle? Kinsey? Yep, right on the outside of this, right? Good. Anywhere else? Annie? Mm-hmm. Right here. Right here. Where else? Austin? Yep. Right outside here and here. Good. Okay, you guys get it, I think. So let's move on. All right, adjacent angles. What does adjacent mean? What does adjacent mean? Mike way? Well, just the word. Just think of what, like if I were to use adjacent in the sentence, like the Starbucks is adjacent to Liberty Common School. In my in my dreams. What would adjacent mean? Yes. No, it does not mean across. On on my lunch break, I will be walking to the adjacent Starbucks without crossing any streets. What does that mean, Liam? It means next to. So adjacent just means next to. So when we talk about adjacent angles, we're talking about angles that are next to each other. All right, so angles that are adjacent, let's put that up there. So share a common vertex. Okay, what is the vertex of an angle? What is the vertex? Elin? Yeah, it's where the two sides of the angles meet. That's a great way to define it. And a common side. So angles also have to have a common side. Okay, so notice all of these angles A and B, these are all adjacent. They share a common vertex and a common side. So here we've got two angles that are on a straight line that are adjacent. Okay, take a look at the next box. Are these angles adjacent? Yes or no? The ones that are labeled, are the ones that are labeled adjacent? I hear some people saying yes. Okay, the answer is no. Let's look at them. D and C are not adjacent. They share a common vertex, but they do not share a common side, do they? Okay, same with C and D. They share a vertex, but not a common side. C and D on this line, they only share a common vertex. So the answer is no on all of those. Let's look at this diagram. Are angle P and angle Q adjacent angles? Zoe? Yes, they are. So go ahead and write yes there. Whoops. Are angle P and angle R adjacent angles? Caleb? No. Guys, eyes up here, please. Thank you. No, they are not. do you guys have the right things printed? Yeah, you need to just change it. So the first one are X and Y adjacent angles. Just cross off P and Q in your slide. Are X and Y adjacent angles? Yes? Yes, good. So let's say we had a Z right here. Would X and Z be adjacent angles? Would Y and Z be adjacent angles? Yes, all of those be adjacent angles. Okay, good. All right, tomorrow you're gonna need some scissors. We're not gonna start our workbook right quite yet. Yeah, Annie. Okay,
I don't understand how.
Q and R are adjacent angles. Those two are. The question was, are P and R adjacent angles?
Oh,
So, yeah, so you did understand what adjacent angles meant. It's just that you misread the P. All right, let's end this. Okay, flip your notes over. Oh, do you have a blank sheet of paper on your notes?